Hi there, this is Tim Pernie, retired gunnery sergeant, United States Marine Corps. Just sending this short video to tell a little bit about my story and my testimony. I didn't grow up in a Christian home. My wife and I grew up together, but we didn't grow up going to church or anything in terms of knowing what it meant to have a relationship with the Lord and knowing Him as our personal Savior. We got married 1 year after we graduated high school, and I went in the Marine Corps directly from high school. We had definitely some turmoil within our marriage. One of my deployments, I was off the coast of Mogadishu, Somalia, getting ready to go in there to rescue the rest of the Americans after the Black Hawk Down incident happened in 1993. I was there in 1994. Had a fellow Marine share the gospel with me and told him to get away from me. I didn't want anything to do with that. We had a mission to do, and we needed to stay focused on what the Marine Corps was going to have us do. After that, we transferred from there, and we were not having a very, very good marriage at all. And there was another Marine that noticed this issues and problems within our marriage, and he invited me to church, and I didn't want to go. It was on a Wednesday night. I had no idea that churches even got together on a Wednesday, but I went because they were having a meal, and during that meal, they did a devotion, and that's the first time that I ever heard a devotion and actually made sense to me, and I could understand really what they were talking about. And so eventually my wife and I started going to that church, and then we both got saved, and God restored our marriage. It's such a beautiful story and super awesome. We got transferred from that duty station to another duty station, and I got called up to go to Iraq. And prior to going to Iraq, I didn't have a really great relationship with my dad either, but he drove all the way down from Michigan to say how much he loved me and how proud of me he was prior to going to Iraq. While I was in Iraq, I was witnessing and sharing the gospel to lots of other Marines prior to the war kicking off. And just before the war kicked off, we had some Marines that came to know the Lord, and we dug a hole in the middle of the desert and filled it with trash bags and water, and we baptized those Marines as they, prior to crossing over from Kuwait into Iraq in the invasion of 2003. So pretty special moment to see Marines come to know Christ prior to going into combat. One of those Marines that did get baptized prior to the war kicking off was killed in action, and it was just a really good reminder of how precious time is, that we need to share Christ as much as possible and as often as possible. Kind of fast forward in my testimony, my daughters say I've got several chapters, but another situation was we were in India on a mission trip, and I got arrested for sharing the gospel and kicked out of the country. And after that, I tried to go back one more time, and they would not let me back in the country. So I've not been able to go back to India, where we have an orphanage. But I went after that, I went to Sudan and had the opportunity to actually train the Sudanese military chaplains, and they get persecuted over there in Sudan on a regular basis. So I was able to be over there for 3 weeks to teach the book of Ephesians to the new Sudanese military chaplains, which was pretty special. From there, since I couldn't go back to Nepal, I started leading trips since I couldn't go back to India, I started leading trips to Nepal. And on those mission trips in Nepal, I would trek the Himalaya mountains to go to areas that nobody else would go to and that nobody had ever heard the gospel before. I feel and still feel that all the training that the Marine Corps instilled in me for 21 years and all the deployments in all the places that I've been was preparing me for places like the Himalaya mountains of Nepal, to go to places that are hard to get to, that nobody else is going to, so I could share the gospel. So again, I thank you for the opportunity. And so that's kind of the quick 4 or 5 minute version of my testimony, but I'm thankful to have come to know the Lord a long time ago and continue to be His hands and feet wherever He calls me to go. Thanks.